Hello, my name is Jessica. I'm from Germany, and today we're going to interview and ask people questions about the topic of what humans' impact on the environment is and climate change. So, we're going to start off by going to the other side of the world, Japan. Hello, Sonia. It's nice to have you here. How are you? Could you maybe give us a bit of background about yourself?
Hello Jesse, thank you for introducing me. My name is Sonia Nishiyama. I was born and raised in Japan, and right now I'm a university student in Osaka studying international business right now.
Thank you so much, Sonia. So my first question is, what do you think determines the number of people the Earth can support?
My personal answer for question number one is going to be food resourcement, because the Earth's capacity to support this 8 billion population really depends on how nutritious each person can be. And to support that, it really depends on the food resourcement. The capacity to produce, distribute, and to ensure the population access to nutritious food directly impacts the number of people that can survive on this planet. So I think food resourcement is going to be the biggest role, and I'll say most essential thing.
Okay, thank you so much for your opinion. So my second question is, have you ever wondered about how our daily activities might impact the environment?
Okay, so my answer for question two may be a little contradictory, but I don't want you to think that way. I think anybody is like that too, but when you do something good for the environment, then yeah, it feels like you've contributed. But when you're like not even thinking about the environment, such as leaving the lights on forever, then no, I never think about the environment. So Japan is really strict about dividing the garbage, or like not throwing stuff away in outside of your house. So when I do divide my garbage, like, because it's normal, I never think about it, but yeah, I did something good. But as I just said, like leaving the lights on, or like just let the water keep running, then I never think about the environment.
Okay, that's interesting. So my third question is, do you think there's a limit to how many people the Earth can sustain? And if so, what factors do you think contribute to that limit?
The final question, determining the Earth's exact carrying capacity for humans really depends on numerous factors, such as like food resources, as I just said, but including technology, consumption, and all this stuff. But basing on my opinion, as I just said, the food resourcement, I'll say 9 to 10 billion people will be the maximum. There are several experts who are saying it, and articles out there that's saying that having a satisfied meal for each person, the food security will peak at 9 to 10 billion people, and that'll be it. But however, achieving this sustainability would require significant advancements in technology and like equal distribution and environmental conservation efforts. So there are going to be a lot of challenges to get 9 to 10 billion people, each person having a fulfilled, satisfied meal. Yes.
Wow, Sonia, thank you so much for sharing your opinion, especially from someone that lives on the other side of the world and has a completely different culture than us. So thank you so much for your time, and see you soon. Hi, Mr. Pittman. I wonder about your opinion about the topic of humans' impact on the environment. So my first question is, how do you feel about recycling, and do you think it makes a difference in managing our environmental impact?
I think recycling matters. I think we should do it. I think it does have an impact. I think more importantly, it shows other people that some people care about the environment. So anytime you see a recycling plant, or you see like a recycling place, even if it's something on a school campus, people realize it, and they realize that some people are trying to do the right thing. So yes, I do think it does have an impact. Maybe not the big impact for the world, but it does have a definite local impact on certain places.
Okay, interesting. And in what way do you think technology can play a role in helping us manage population growth and its impact on the environment?
I think if you start talking about technology, it depends what kind of technology we're talking about. Are we talking about things like, artificial intelligence coming into play to help with these kind of issues? Are we talking about different ways of food production? Are we talking about, even healthcare for women, and children? So I think those are all issues. So I do think technology comes into play. It's a big deal with any kind of population issue. To me, the bigger issues lie into facts of, sustainability for, the earth, certain countries, certain places. So yeah, I do definitely think technology is important. I don't know the impact it's currently having right now.
Thank you so much for your answer. My last question is, have you heard about climate change and how do you think it might relate to the Earth's capacity to support human life?
I think climate change is a real thing. I do think it does affect certain areas, certain, regions of the Earth. At the same time, I think there are other factors that go into population growth, migration patterns. I'm from the southern United States. You have a lot of people from the northern United States that are moving there, even though the earth is technically warming. Just like you have a lot of people from, Latin America and even other countries that come in through the southern northern United States. Are they coming because of climate change, or are they coming because they're, needing a better life? Now, one would argue climate change is the reason they're leaving. I think there's a lot more arguments than just climate change. The other thing I would say about climate change and its effect on populations too, is I think certain governments push climate change policies that sometimes hurt people that are the poorest, the hardest economically, with things like energy costs. Because the reality is, the poorer you are, the cheaper energy that you're able to consume makes your life easier. It's a lot easier for a wealthy person to talk about climate change, fly all over the world, and yet not do things locally that, in my opinion, they can do to possibly, help it out or make it better.
Hi Renata, thank you so much for your time. Do you maybe like to introduce yourself a bit?
Yes, I'm Renata, I'm from Mexico and I study here in the Rafnan International School.
Okay, thank you. So my first question is, I'm curious about your thoughts on how our food choices and production methods impact the environment. Like, what's your take on this?
I think it's a crucial issue. The way we produce food can have a significant consequences for the environment, like practices like intensive farming and deforestation can lead to soil degradation and loss of biodiversity.
Interesting. What about animal agriculture? Some say it's a major contributor to climate change.
Definitely. Livestock farming with its large resources requirements does contribute to greenhouse gas emissions and environmental degradation. However, there are arguments about sustainable animal farming practices playing a role in ecosystem balance.
So, do you think there's a way to balance our need for food with minimizing environmental impact?
I believe so. Shifting towards more sustainable farming methods and adopting plant-based diets can be a key, but it's about finding that balance between meeting our food demands and ensuring we don't harm the environmental irreversibly.
Thank you so much. So my next question is, have you ever thought about the significance of conserving resources like water and energy, especially given the challenges posed by global population growth?
Absolutely. It's a critical consideration. With the world's population continually rising, the strain of resources like water and energy becomes more apparent. It's essential to find ways to sustainably manage resources to meet current and future needs.
So how do you think this ties into the broader issue of environmental sustainability?
Well, conserving water and energy is a fundamental aspect of environmental sustainability. Overuse and depletion of these resources not only impact the immediate surroundings but contribute to larger issues like climate change. It's a balancing act between supporting a growing population and ensuring we don't compromise the health of our planet.
Do you see any practical solutions or initiatives that could address this challenge?
Definitely. Implementing water and energy efficient technologies, promoting responsible consumption practices, and investing in renewable energy sources are practical steps. Education and awareness about the importance of resources conservation also play a crucial role in fostering a sustainable mindset across communities.
Oh, thank you so much. So that's really interesting to know. I have one more question. So, how do you envision balancing human needs with the well-being of the planet, considering the impact of human activities on the environment, like deforestation or anything else?
I mean, it's a complex challenge, but I believe sustainable practices are key. We can start by adopting eco-friendly technologies and practices in industry, promoting renewable energy sources, and transitioning to circular economies to reduce the waste.
Okay, so interesting. What about individual actions? How can people contribute to this balance in their daily lives, like living at their life at home?
I think that individuals can make a significant impact through simple yet impactful actions, like reducing the single use of plastics, embracing sustainable transportation, and making conscious choices in their consumption habits. Education and awareness campaigns also play a role in fostering collective sense of responsibility.
So it's a combination of systemic changes and individual choices?
Exactly. Systematic changes are crucial, but individual actions collectively create a broader societal shift toward more sustainable living. It's about finding a harmony where human needs are met without compromising the health of the planet we depend on.
Okay, thank you so much for your time and see you soon.
Thank you.
Hi Neve, thanks so much for joining us from the other side of the world, America. Can you maybe introduce yourself a little bit?
Yeah, of course. My name is Neve. I'm currently in America at college. I'm a freshman in New Jersey, and I am happy to be here talking to you today.
Thank you. So I'll ask you questions about just climate change and how the humans' impact affects the environment.
Mm-hmm.
So my first is, in your opinion, what role does your government and community play in addressing the challenges related to population growth and the environment?
Well, I think that both the government and the community can have a tremendous impact on the future of population growth and the environment. However, I think that the government or the community, if they have any policies or initiatives regarding these political issues, that there has to be cooperation and collaboration between the two different parties. And so by doing so, the best advancements can be made for everybody and for the future.
Okay, so can you provide a specific example where this collaboration could make a notable difference in addressing challenges related to population growth and the environment?
Yes, certainly. So we can look first at waste management. If the community and the government work together on different recycling programs and waste reduction in general, then that could significantly lessen the environmental impact of population growth.
Yeah, that makes sense. So how do you envision this collaboration practically taking place, especially in issues like waste management?
Well, I believe that regular communication is vital and essential for this. So different things such as town hall meetings and community forums will create a platform in which sharing ideas and concerns are normal and regular, and that will foster a collaborative decision-making process between the two.
That's true. So do you think there's a need for specific policies or initiatives to encourage more active community involvement?
Well, I think that transparency is key. So there needs to be clear information directly from the government, and there also needs to be incentive programs that recognize the different community initiatives that are taking place, like things that are happening in waste reduction. And then all of this together will increase the participation.
Okay, so in finding the balance between government regulations and community initiatives, what's your take?
Well, in the end, it's all about flexibility. So while regulations provide a framework, we need to be open to innovative, community-driven solutions, and that's going to be crucial in order to have effective problem solving.
Yeah, of course. So do you believe a particular mindset or cultural shift is needed within both the government and the community for this collaborative approach?
Well, absolutely. I mean, a shift towards an inclusive and environmentally conscious mindset is essential for prioritizing long-term environmental health over the short-term gains that they're looking at right now.
Yeah. Well, Thanks so much for sharing your insights on this question. It's clear that collaboration, communication, and a cultural shift are crucial in addressing these challenges. So my second question is, in your opinion, how can governments encourage sustainable practices in industries to mitigate the impact of population growth and the environment?
Well, governments are responsible for implementing and enforcing strict guidelines and regulations throughout country, yet the only incentive strong enough, I believe, to sway large industries and corporations is money. And so companies must be given different rewards for following the rules and changing their practices in order to control population growth's impact on the environment.
Okay, so can you share specific types of rewards or incentives you believe would be most effective in mitigating the impact of population growth on the environment?
Yeah, well, the most effective ones are going to be tangible rewards, so things such as tax benefits or grants for adopting eco-friendly practices could be and will be the most powerful motivators. It's just in the end about making it financially advantageous for companies to prioritize sustainability in their goals.
Yeah, good point. So how do you see the balance between penalties for non-compliance and these positive incentives in driving industry change?
Well, it's a very delicate balance, it's a very fine line, because the penalties need to be strong enough to discourage these harmful practices, but the incentives should definitely outweigh the risks. There needs to be more positive consequences than negative consequences. And so finding that equilibrium ensures that we have a smooth transition towards these sustainable practices.
Yeah, got it. So in your opinion, should these incentives be more short-term or include long-term benefits also to encourage continuous improvement?
Well, I believe that both have their merits. So short-term gains are used to jumpstart the process to get people on board. But in the end, long-term incentives like the ongoing tax benefits that I mentioned will provide sustained motivation for companies to consistently improve their practices and become top in the country in said practices.
Yeah, that's an interesting approach. So do you believe there's a need for additional government regulations or perhaps a cultural shift within industries to complement these incentive-based strategies?
Well, it's definitely going to have to be a combination, because while these incentives provide motivation for the industries and the corporations, there needs to be clear regulations that set a global standard. And so we also need to foster a culture within these industries that values sustainability voluntarily, so that they will follow these regulations effectively and efficiently, and then can enhance the overall effectiveness of the strategies that are implemented.
Wow, okay. Thank you so much. I think you've expressed your opinion very deeply, and it was really interesting to see an opinion from someone with a different culture, living in a different land and a different continent. So thank you again for sharing your insights. It seems like a mix of financial incentives, penalties, and a cultural shift could be the recipe for encouraging sustainable practices in industries. So thank you so much again for your time, and I hope to see you soon.
Thank you. Bye.